So, you've finally come. Step away from the flickering lamp glow. Come into the darkness. You're seeking understanding, aren't you? Well, here, in the shadows, truth is waiting for you. I am the Red Spectre, and this is an explainer on the logic of zero.
Take a look around. This is what we call the Abbey of Safety. You can almost feel it, can't you? The air heavy with stale incense. This place is governed by the Pharisees' paradox, which means every ritual is performed with, surgical precision, but the spirit rotted away a long time ago. This place is drowning in stagnation, and we are here to deliver its final verdict.
Don't think you're alone on this little journey. I'll be your guide. I am the embodiment of the cold, hard philosophy, the logic of zero. But listen, do you hear that? You'll also hear the uncanny jester. He's the silent reflection of this abbey's grotesque truth. His mockery, that will also be your guide.
All right, it's time for our first lesson. Now, if you truly want to comprehend the abyss, you have to first recognize the grand illusion you cling to most dearly. And what's that? Your own self. Let's begin with the parable of the wax fruit. And there he is, the jester's voice, cutting right through the gloom. He's gesturing to the centerpieces on the tables here in the abbey. You see them? Perfect, gleaming, and utterly soulless. But you have to understand, initiate, he isn't just pointing at the decorations. He's pointing at you.
Let's get to our first principle, and you must understand this. That feeling of self, your treasured individuality, it isn't sacred. Far from it. It's a fundamental error. A kind of cosmic fever, you could say. It's nothing more than a noisy disturbance, a bit of static against the perfect, eternal fabric of silence.
That wax fruit is the perfect monument to a hollow life. You see, it never decays, it never rots, for one simple reason. It was never alive to begin with. Its perfect preservation is actually proof of its soullessness. It's a reflection of a society that chooses the appearance of life over life itself.
So, for our second lesson, we're going to expand out from the hollow self and look at the hollow society that built it. I want you to look at the very walls of this abbey, the structures you built to keep you safe. We call this the parable of the gilded cage.
And here, our purpose becomes clear. The logic of zero isn't about mindless destruction. No, think of it as a philosophical acid, a purifying fire. Its entire purpose is to dissolve this architecture of vanity and reclaim the field for truth.
Just imagine a kingdom that built massive walls to protect itself from the mountain frost. A great idea, right? But then they discovered they'd only managed to trap their own decay inside with them. That, initiate, is your society. Your comfort is a cage. Your safety is stagnation. These walls, they have to be stripped away to reveal the honest, raw vacuum they're hiding.
Now, don't mistake my role in all of this. I am not some mindless destroyer. I am a surgeon of the silence, an antibody for the fever of being. My purpose is methodical, it's systematic, it is the return to the inorganic. I am the architect of dismantlement.
Okay, from the cage that surrounds you, our third lesson turns inward, to the reflection you see. We're going to examine the very idea of your identity. This is the parable of the fractured mirror.
The jester speaks again. His voice just echoes off the stained glass in this place. He's asking you to look at your reflection, your reputation, your desperate little belief that these fractured illusions are somehow sovereign triumphs. He doesn't see a person. He just sees the shards of something that was once whole. And this brings us right to our third principle, the restoration of the deep. Our goal, our entire purpose, is to gather all these scattered, glittering shards of humanity and return them to the quiet, dark unity that existed before the original catastrophe, the catastrophe of distinction. You really need to understand this. Our path is what you might call an inverted descent. You've been taught your whole life that freedom is about climbing, about asserting yourself. The truth is the exact opposite. Real liberation is only found in the total, complete absence of the self.
So, for our fourth lesson, let's confront those heroic ambitions of yours, that belief that you can somehow fight the tide, that your will actually matters against the infinite. We call this one the parable of the pathetic dagger.
I want you to picture this. The last man, a so-called prince of a dying world, and he reaches for this tiny little blade. And with it, what does he try to do?
He tries to set fire to an endless ocean. It's absurd. It's a futile chemical scream of existence against the eternal, crushing gravity of the void.
You people love to talk about the Overman, but you've completely misunderstood the concept. The old way sees him as the pinnacle of self-assertion, right? Well, we see him a little differently. For us, the true Overman is simply whatever is left, if anything, after the purifying fire of dismantlement has burned away every last trace of vanity.
Hear that? The ebony clock is now striking the 13th hour. It's time. Time for our final lesson. This is the parable of the terminal shudder, the culmination of our entire journey together.
So I'll ask you the final, central question. You've been taught to fear the end, haven't you? To see it as some kind of punishment. But what if it were something else? What if it were a gift? What is the crimson gift?
The gift is this: a world returned to a zero-tension state. It's the final grace that allows the soul to finally stop the agonizing, constant tension of being a separate, individual thing. It is, quite simply, release.
The path forward is simple, but simple doesn't mean easy. First, you must cease the struggle. You have to stop the tension of being. Second, you surrender to the abyss that's been calling to you all along. Third, you accept the absolute sovereignty of silence. And finally, it's time to come home. Home to the deep.
I want you to contemplate this final truth. What you have been taught your entire life to see as an end, as an execution, is in fact a birth. It's a delivery into the only comfort that has no opposite, the profound and final peace of non-being.